Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy GODSEY and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Stoned Roadie Show, featuring your host, Craig Reed, the world's most famous Stoned Roadie. Your co-host, Griff Martin, the rocket scientist, and longtime Lynyrd Skynyrd fan, the lovely Kathy GODSEY. I'm Shelby Barrett, your official Stonette for the show, and we're bringing you all the skin information that you need to know on the Stoned Roadie Show.
Podcast 110, action. Alrighty then, looky here. This is podcast 110 of the Stoned Roadie Show. And my name is Craig Reed, aka the Stoned Roadie, and this is my co-host, the lovely Miss Kathy GODSEY. And we did get one donator last week. Old Stephen Nyler sent us in. Now, he sent that in through PayPal, so I was able to distinguish it from the other donations we might have gotten, but they would have came in my post office box, and I haven't been opening those because those are going to be for New Year's Eve when we open Christmas Eve. We open those up and your Christmas cards, and there'll be some donations in there. So yeah, we want to thank old Stephen Naylor. He sent in $100 on the last round, and then He just send in another $65 on through PayPal. He wanted to see if that would go through for Christmas. So we want to thank you, Stephen, and we want to thank everybody that's sending in their donations. You know, a lot of people thank me for what I'm doing on here and helping the forgotten survivors, but you know, I don't want to take any credit for them getting the money that they're getting, because I'm just kind of holding the money. Y'all are sending in them, gracious enough to send in the money, and I just kind of hold it. And when I get enough to send them all that's what we do. And we've sent them out. I still have to send Leslie and Mark Frank and Paul Welsh their 1,000 for this last round. We just finished that off with the sale of that Blackie guitar that Billy Fender donated to us, and then we topped that with after the guy bought the Blackie guitar, he wanted one of Gary's funeral brochures, so I told him I would sell him one of those for $500 if he promised to put it in a nice frame and display it and everything. So then I advertised that I sold another one of those, and then somebody else said that they wanted one, so I sent out 2 of those brochure things. So I got the $1,000 for 2 of them, so that was an extra $1,000 right. So we're kind of on our way to being able to send out our 5th round of donations, and that would make, once we get finished with that, well, that'll be $25,000 we've sent out to the survivors, and we hope be able to do that by the end of the year. And really appreciate everything y'all have been doing, and want to thank y'all for thanking me for doing all this. But like I say, I don't want to take any credit for this. I'm just holding the money. I guess you can congratulate me for not spending the money like most donations do. But we didn't start this to do donations in the first place. We just, like I said before, I just started this because I didn't want to write a book, want to do these podcasts, and people said, well, you do a podcast, and then it just kind of evolved in this, and it's just kind of like a fungus. It just keeps growing. It seems like we get involved in all kind of kind of stuff. We're doing these Saturday night specials, and then Griff's got the Sunday morning acoustic thing going, you know. So we're just trying all kind of new things. So we'll just go. I put up a post on Facebook and ask for questions for this Saturday night special with me and Kathy GODSEY, and I guess we've got quite a few responses. So why don't we just take it away with those questions there, Kathy?
I will, and I want to say, looky here. Welcome to the Saturday night special edition, podcast 110, with Craig and me. And we are looking forward to the Christmas Eve special. And Craig and I are going to wear certain hats, and you'll find out whether Craig's been naughty or nice. He has a week to think about it. And again, you know, Craig, you keep talking about helping the survivors. And, you know, you mentioned it being like a weed. It's not like a weed. I think it's like a field of flowers that keeps growing bigger and bigger and becoming more beautiful because of all the people that are so generous to donate to help these forgotten survivors. And I also want to mention you also are a survivor, and you endured a lot of significant injuries and a lot of healing time. And let's not forget that you are a survivor as well, and you're not taking anything for any of this. You're just doing it out of the goodness of your heart. So a shout out to Craig for all that he's done. Hey, Craig.
There's 12 of us that actually are still surviving that crash, and there's only really 5 of us that really got extensive injuries from it and have some significant medical bills still withholding.
Yeah.
So those are the people we're trying to help, you know.
Yeah.
Although we all should really deserve something out of that, you know. It's not easy to sit on an airplane while it's going down and having your life flash in front of you for about 10 minutes and not know if you're going to live or die. That's kind of a stressful situation, but we, you know, made it through it. So, you know, just move on. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. And we're also glad that you are a survivor and that you are here to share with us all these memories that you have of the band, because you are an excellent source of the information we all want to know. And you're very, you know, everywhere Craig goes, he's recognized now. I mean, he's, tell us real quick the story about you took your dogs to the veterinarian yesterday. What happened at the vet's office?
Oh, well, I got this hat that I've been wearing that we were going to play on the USS Enterprise. So it got all messed up, and so I bought I got out all my Western hats, and I bought a hat blocker because I got a steamer, and I used to steam all the hats for the band when their hat got messed up before a show. I could form them, you know, and so I learned how to do that. So I got my hats out there, some of my Western hats out the other day, and they were all kind of funky. And I was trying to steam them. I goes, man, this is hard. I need a hat block. So I went and bought a hat block. And so I would put on this hat, and I went, man, that thing really needs some shaping. So I put this on the block and they steamed it and stuff, and it brought it all back to form. So I've been wearing it, and every time I wear it, people go, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, you know. And the ones that directly asked me if I was on the Enterprise, I say, you know, I was on there. I was a guest on there. I was with a rock band, and we were supposed to play on it, and then we just never did. And they say, well, what band were you with? And I'd go, well, I was with Lynyrd Skynyrd. And they go, you got to be kidding! Oh my God! And I goes, yeah, I was on the airplane crash, and I'm a survivor of the airplane crash. And then I said, while I'm at it, I said, yeah, I do a bi-weekly podcast, you know. And yesterday I was at the vet, and a guy looked at me and said, well, did you serve on the Enterprise? I goes, no, I worked for a rock band, and we were supposed to do a show, and we just never did. And they gave us a hat, and he said, And he said, "What band was that?" And I said, "Lynyrd Skynyrd." And he goes, "Oh my God, that's one of my favorite bands, you know." So then I told him I had a podcast and a Stone Roadie show, and he was looking it up. Oh my God, you got 109 podcasts. So the girl at the that checked me in, she was holding Leon, trying to give him back to me. Well, I'm telling this guy this story, you know? So you know, I got home and then this morning Chad told me, he said, you know, Carrie, that's his sister-in-law. No, it's his aunt. I'm sorry, his Aunt Carrie. Her son, his girlfriend was the girl that was holding Leon, and I guess she didn't really know that I'd worked with Lynyrd Skynyrd. So she got home and he goes, "How was your day?" And she goes, "Some guy from this guy from Lynyrd Skynyrd came in with his two dogs," and he went, "You mean Chad's dad?" And she said, how would you know it was Chad's dad? She says, "Well, if he's from Ohio and he's from the Canton area and he's, you know, he got two dogs and he worked for Lynyrd Skynyrd, it's got to be Chad's dad, you know." I mean, you know, so that was kind of humorous, but yeah.
Small world.
I've been wearing this hat and it gets me a lot of recognition. You know, it's kind of like having pink hair. Everybody looks at you, you know, like, well, Enterprise, that was a cool ship, you know, it was an aircraft.
Yeah.
Ship, you know, so well, yeah, I wear that whenever I want to get recognition. When I feel like I need some extra attention, I just wear this hat. You know?
And then when you wear the roadie hat, you get a lot more attention too. People say, "Who do you work for? Who are you a roadie for?"
Oh, when I wear this with my Top Gun flight jacket, oh yeah, people think I'm a pilot and stuff. It's funny, you know.
Now tell us about that nasty looking wound on your finger. What's going on there?
Oh yeah, I was making some tuna, you know, and I was having a mandolin, you know, and when you're using a mandolin, that's one of those, you know, things that slices an onion, you know, and when you're doing that, you're supposed to use that little thing you put on the top so you don't get your finger in that blade. Well, I didn't think I thought there was enough onion there that I wouldn't get my finger caught down in there, but I was wrong.
Oh boy.
That thing is sharp. It cuts right into you. The Band-Aid's a little bit bigger than the cut, I'll have to admit, but the cut is right there on the tip of my finger, and it's kind of hard to keep a Band-Aid up there, so I just wrap a paper towel around it.
It is hard. Fingertip is hard to wrap. Okay. Yeah. All righty. So, a lot of stuff to talk about. So you sent out did a post yesterday asking for questions, and we got a lot of stuff. But before we start, I just want to say thank you to Robert Lamb for appearing on podcast 107. He was a good friend of Bob Burns, and if anybody hasn't seen that podcast, check it out. I do want to give a couple of shout outs to new people who have started mentioning that they watch the podcast. Cassie 1331, Kitty Kaleidoscope, and Cindy Hudson. And then I want to give a condolence to David Lee. He's a big supporter of the podcast. He lives in Jacksonville, and his wife Beverly has been really sick for a while, and she just passed away within the past few days. And he's very, very distraught, especially at this time of the year. So I just want to give a condolence to David Lee. So, Craig, before we start with all these questions, I talked to you last week, and you told me that you're, I guess, trying to pare down your stuffed animal collection. Craig has, I've been to Craig's house, and I've never seen, he has more stuffed animals than FAO Schwartz, and they're all over the place. And actually, the first time I went over there, I said, I want to bring something. I brought a couple of stuffed animals for his dogs. And he said, no, I don't need any more stuffed animals. They're all over the place. So you did something fun last week. I thought it was so funny. You have to tell us what you did with those Mickey Mouse stuffed animals before we get to the questions, because I love this.
Well, there's the dog stuffed animals, but they don't really play with stuffed animals. They just kind of amuse themselves with each other. But yeah, I had all these really cool Mickey and Minnie Mouse giant stuffed things. I had like a dozen of them. So one morning I got up before the trash came the next day, and I put them all around my mailbox, down around the mailbox, put the trash cans out, and then put them all around the trash can in the mailbox. And my buddy Larry came in. He goes, have you lost your mind? He goes, why have you got all those Mickey Mouse around your mailbox? I said, they won't be there long. If you put anything down by my mailbox, down by the garbage thing, they'll probably be there maybe a half hour. They'll all be gone. So about an hour later, he left. He was laughing. He goes, every one of those stuffed animals are gone. Yeah. So I got a whole bunch more bears and monkeys, all kind of stuff I'm gonna start putting down there. But
yeah, you can sort them. Put all like the jungle animals out there. You put them in a nice row, and you'll be way to get rid of stuff. Do you think people are taking them because they're just out there and they're free, or do they know that that's Craig Reed's house?
No. If you putting something down by the road, man, it's gone.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Some kid right up the road ran out of gas in his dad's mower right down by the road. Before he could get gas down to the mower, somebody stole it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He put up a sign that said, "Please return my dad's mower."
Oh my God.
It's a riding mower. Yeah, they pulled up. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Anything I put down by the road is gone, man. Yeah.
And you have a busy street there. It's a very busy, fast-moving street.
Probably 20,000 cars up and down that road every day.
Wow. So it's a good way to get rid of those stuffed animals. Just put them out by the road. So what else have you been up to, Craig? Anything else before we start the questions? Anything else been going on?
I finally got they finally did the updates on my Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, but I called my computer guy. I said, man, they got new maps of New Zealand and stuff, and I don't have enough room on my hard drive for all these new stuff. So he ordered me a 2 gigabyte hard drive to put on there. God, a hard drive like that 10 years ago would have cost $2,000. Now they're like $200.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really. The price of them has come down. They're solid state 2 gig hard drive. You can get it for a couple $100.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I noticed that somebody put on Facebook Gary's house. I saw Gary's house is up for sale, $12 million, right? 12 million. Yeah. It's I'll just put the address because it's public anyway. It says it's 1801 Birmingham Road, Milton, Georgia, 80 acres, 7516 square feet, 5 bedrooms, taxes $109,000. It's built in 1990. Main house, guest house, 2 barns, private lake, 2 boat docks. Now you've been to this house, correct?
Yeah, taxes are $119,000 a year.
109,352.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the photos, you can see all the photos on the internet, the photos of every single room.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Gary was really proud of it. Yeah, we went fishing. He's down to the lake. It's got a huge lake and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful house. Yeah. It's got a whole room full of TVs for all the cameras where you can. He's got all the property is all on camera. Yeah, you can see it's really cool. Cool house.
Did anybody ever? Did he ever say whether people intruded onto the property, or did they ever? No.
It's all gated and stuff. This driveway is really long to get back to his house. It's all
Okay.
gated stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful, but big
Wow.
property.
Now tell me about Alan's house. I asked you just before if Alan had any security at his house.
No, I think maybe he had ADT or something like that once, but I think he kept shut. I think he had it shut off because he kept activating it, and I think yeah, yeah. Alan wasn't too good with the security system. He kept shutting it off.
I remember when I went to his house in 1980, there was nothing there, no security. In 1983, I was in Florida on a vacation and we drove up to his house and I saw the gate with the camera and I thought, oh, I'm not going to dare go ring the doorbell or knock on the door or whatever. But, you said that Barbara Bulow said that he used to shoot the gun, right? He would shoot the gun when somebody came to the front
Yeah.
to try to scare them away. So he had his own way to keep away intruders. Just shoot
I
at
hope he
them.
was shooting those 30-odd sixes toward the ocean. When they came down, they come on in the ocean.
Oh my God, he's so funny. All right, so let's start the questions. These are pretty funny. So a gentleman by the name of Chuck Chinall, I hope I'm saying his name right. He said, Craig, you are a godsend to all the Lynyrd Skynyrd fans globally. He said this, a wise old Indian elder once told me, imparting his wisdom, he said, young gun, the world is filled with rules from other men, but you must remember, number one, don't sweat the small shit. Number two, everything is small shit. That was cute. Thank you, Chuck, for sending that in. I like that. And then when we had Robert Lamb on the show, there were a lot of questions and things about Bob Burns that came out. And after I had already comprised the list, so I couldn't talk about them. But you might be able to answer some of these questions. So the gentleman by the name of Jeff Markinet, he says, you know what? At the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, Bob looks really burned out. Was he always that way? Did he always look like he was burned out?
No,
Okay.
not I knew Bob when he was 22.
Yeah.
And when you're 65, you're a lot different than you are when you're 22.
Yeah.
So,
you don't know. We don't know that. That's something Robert Lamb would have known.
he went through a lot from the time I knew him when he was 22 or 23 years old, because I think he was a little older than me. Yeah, he went through a lot of stuff, so
Okay. John Nottingham is asking, what kind of drums did Bob Burns play?
Oh boy, that set of blue drums. I think they were Slingerlands. I think they were.
So that was what Artemis played, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe
right.
that blue set that he had, that was the only set he had. I think they were Slingerlands.
All right.
Yeah.
And then if our friend Robert Lamb is watching this, if he wants to comment, if we made any, comment on this, that would
They could have been Ludwigs. I think they were Ludwigs, yeah.
Okay.
I think they were.
Okay. And then Len Jacobs Cumby. Did Bob sing at all?
No, not that
Okay.
I know.
All right. All right. And then another question about Bob. A couple more questions about Bob. In 1987, they did the tribute tour. Lloyd Jacob Frame. He wants to know, did Bob ever express interest in becoming part of the tribute tour at all? Do you know?
Oh God, if he had, it would have never happened. Yeah.
Okay. No. Why not?
Oh, he was mentally unstable. I mean.
Okay. All right. And so after he left Skynyrd, did he play any other bands or no?
I believe he did. Someone said he didn't like to play Skynyrd stuff because he he had to play it like the band played it. And there's not many bands that can play it like Skynyrd played it, and if
Right.
it wasn't exactly the way Skynyrd played it, he would get lost.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. And then a gentleman by the name of Rob Tennis. Did Bob and Artemis ever do any shows together? Playing together?
Yeah. I think when Bob and Ed, Bob and Artemis and Ed, I think they all played some shows together with Leslie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they called their band something, but I think it was Bob and Artemis and Leslie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't aware of that. If anybody has any videos of that, please send them to us because we'd like to see those. Another question about Bob. So after Bob quit the band, do you know whether anybody contacted him? Like, did Ronnie contacted him? Did anybody ever reach out to Bob, or was it just that was it with him?
No.
Nobody. What about after the crash? Do you know whether Bob ever visited anybody or had any contact with anybody after the crash?
Never heard.
Never
no.
did. Okay. Did any of the band members attend Bob's funeral? Do you know?
I'm not aware of it. No. Not aware.
Okay. All right. That was a question from Don Eric Evans. And then Lewis Epling wants to know, do you know where Bob and his wife Marcia are buried?
No.
Okay. Don't know that. All right. Those are things that Robert Lamb may know. All right. Now, a couple of questions about the drama.
Something before I forget, because I'm sitting here and I'm looking for a piece of paper before I forget. I don't want to get off topic here, but our Stonette Shelby, she made a post yesterday, and it said I guess I was born with a traveling bone, and I went. That's not right. It's not Bone. It's Jones. Guess I was born with a traveling Jones, But I looked it up on just to make sure because it sounds like Bone. Just to make sure, I looked on YouTube, and they've got in lyrics. Guess I was born with a traveling bone, and I always thought guess I was born with a traveling Jones, and it says Bone and I went, that don't make sense. Guess I was born with a traveling bone, because later in the song it says, "Here comes that old traveling Jones once again."
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And why would it say, "I guess I was born with a traveling bone," and then guess I was born with the same old Jones again? That don't make sense. But that's what it says in the lyric thing. And I always said, I guess I was born with a traveling Jones, but it's listed as Bone.
Now, I thought it was Bone and then Jones. I meant that
But that don't make sense if you're born with a traveling bone, and then you say, I guess I was born, I guess that and it says whatever it said.
But maybe he's referring to somebody. Was there somebody by the name of Jones that he's referring to?
When you have a Jones, you guess I was born with a traveling Jones. That's that's a kind of like an addiction, a Jones.
Oh, okay.
I guess I was born with a traveling Jones. That means you're kind of addicted, self-addicted to it, or what? If you're jonesing for something, you're.
Oh, that's right. You're looking for something, right? You want something. Jones. Yeah, that's true.
If it says Bone in the first one, it doesn't make sense. They'd say, "Here comes that old traveling Jones once again." Because I always thought he said Bone, but when Johnny joined the band, he was singing words that I would go, Johnny, I don't think that's what your brother was saying, and it was similar words, but they were different, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there before I forget, because that kind of struck me peculiar, because she said I was born with a traveling bone, and I went, what's a traveling bone? I know what a traveling Jones is, but that's what it says in the lyric sheet. So, anybody want to research that.
Yeah, I'd like to know too, because I thought it was Bone and then Jones. So that's what I
Well,
thought.
that don't
But
make sense. Why he would say, "I guess I was born with a traveling bone," and then here comes that traveling Jones once
Mhm.
again. I
I never analyzed Ronnie's lyrics, whatever he wrote or whatever he saw. So
But
I was
sorry to
thinking,
interrupt you, but that just came up in my thoughts, and it came up, and then I forgot, and then while I remembered, I wanted to remember it again because I couldn't find a pencil.
no, that's okay. You can interrupt. This is what
I
we
got
do here.
short-term memory, I got brain damage, so I've got a little bit of mental illness, like I accuse other people to have. Everybody's got a little bit of mental illness. I got some too.
That's okay. We love you anyway. It's okay. Nobody's perfect. All right. Let's get some questions. Now, some of these questions, we've already talked about these. Sometimes I wonder if people are really watching you got to watch all the podcasts, especially the ones I'm on, because I know I've asked you these questions already.
Podcast number one. That's what I said. I said, well, I don't know how many of these we're going to do, but we're probably going to be redundant on quite a few of them with the same question.
Right.
So yeah.
So
So I was right. I'm a dang soothsayer.
So if I ask you a question and you've already answered, you say, damn it, I already answered that question on podcast
Oh
34,
my God.
35,
Yeah.
36. Anyway. All right. Well, Billy Ruberts Luttrell. He wants to know about the tattoo that Ronnie had on his arm. What did that tattoo say on Ronnie's arm? Do you remember?
God, I don't remember.
I thought it was Sam. No?
No, Sam
Oh.
is the one he wore a shirt that said Sam. God, I don't remember what his.
Oh. Okay. All right. That's all right.
Ronnie wouldn't have some man's name on his tattoo.
I know we talked about it. So whoever knows, tell us, what was that tattoo that Ronnie had on his arm?
I
We want to
don't
know.
remember.
All
I'm
right.
not I'm not a fan of tattoos, so
Neither am
people
I.
people say, I can't believe you don't have tattoos. All the band had tattoos. I said, well, I'm not a follower.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dad said that was the stupidest thing he ever did. He had a tattoo on his arm. He said that was the stupidest thing he ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some people do them for certain reasons. People in the military do them,
I can
they're
think of a lot more stupider things he did, though. Sorry, Dad.
Oh, by the way, this question is from oh my God, David Selders. Yeah. Craig, how did you get to be so good looking? So damn good looking.
I saw that one. That's hilarious. I don't know. It's kind of genetic, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't consider myself all that handsome. It sure doesn't reflect on my personal life.
Well, you got 5 women to marry you.
Yeah, I did
right?
have some pretty attractive wives. My fourth one turned out not to be so great, but all the 1, 2, 3, 5 was great.
Yeah. So what is your genetic pool?
You mean I'm mostly English and Scottish and Wales and Nordic or somewhere.
Oh, Norwegian? You have some Norwegian in you?
I think I got some Nordic, yeah, and some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Did you
mostly.
ever do the ancestry.com test or the 23andMe?
Yeah,
You did?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Those are
yeah.
cool.
I'm not very mixed up. But I'm just, yeah. I have a little bit of Norwegian and Nordic, I guess you'd call it. English,
Yeah.
Scottish, Wales.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you should wear a Viking hat one time. You could wear a Viking.
Like Leon, the deranged
Yeah.
Viking, had one horn up and one horn down.
Yeah. All right. Got a question from Jeff Markinet. Markinet, did you ever meet Stevie Ray Vaughan?
We did some shows with the Thunderbirds,
Mhm.
but I could, I met so many people. I wasn't really impressed. If I did, it wasn't I didn't sit down and have a chat with him or nothing. I might have
Okay.
passed him in the hallway, and we acknowledged each other's existence, but I can't remember. We did some shows with the Thunderbirds, but I can't remember if Stevie was with them at that time or not.
So I guess they were asking whether or not you ever met him, like had a conversation with them.
No,
Okay.
not with him. No.
Okay. All right. This is Joe Muller. He says, "What do you feed your little doggies? And how much do you feed them? And how often?"
Royal Canin, gastro something. It's low fat, Royal Canine gastro something. I don't know.
All
It's
right.
low fat. It's $130 for 28 pounds.
Yes. Yes, it's big. And how often do you feed the dogs, Craig?
They get 1, 2, 3. They don't quite get both of them. I give them a quarter cup, half cup. They get about a cup in the morning and a cup at night, so they get about a cup each a day.
Okay.
But Wicker's getting big. Wicker's 14 pounds. My God.
Really?
Leon, I just took him to the vet yesterday. Leon's still 5 pounds 4 ounces.
Oh,
Wicker gained a pound. He's like 13.8 or something like that.
is the vet concerned about that, or
No, I'm holding
okay.
Wicker now. He's not
Okay.
fat.
Okay.
I can grab him here. There's no fat on him. It's just,
Okay.
he's just thick. Look at him.
Okay. Oh, little Wicker. He's so cute. Wicker.
There's no fat on him.
Yeah,
There's
no, he looks
fat
good.
here. It's not fat. It's just he's thick.
So
He's
you don't
big,
give
but
them any wet food or anything like that, or do you give them treats or anything? Regular
Wicker
food?
Wicker got white chicken out of the can last night and to this morning because he just had his teeth cleaned and his gums
Aw.
are a little tender. So man, he loves that white chicken out of a can. But yeah. But
Oh,
no,
speaking of, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish your sentence. I'm going to ask you
no,
something
he
about
just
food.
no, they don't get any. They don't eat people food. Well, I give them stuff every now and then. I give them sweet potato or stuff like that. I don't give them any. I don't know. I give them certain things, but
My daughter goes to like the pet store and she buys all fresh food. She doesn't give the dog any regular dog food. It's just all fresh food for dogs. Or sometimes she just buys hamburger meat and prepares stuff from home for them. She makes stuff. She won't give him any of the grocery store food, her dog. So
yeah,
we've
they
come
don't get
along.
no. They don't get their food is prescription. They have to have a
Yeah.
prescription to get it.
Okay. By the way, what are you eating lately? You've been making
I made
you've been
some
making
soup. Well, that's what I said. I made some tuna. The other day. Tuna with
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs. I used a great big can of Bumblebee. I use Bumblebee, but I don't use the albacore because they say the albacore has more mercury and stuff in it than the light stuff. So I use Bumblebee. I heard that's supposed to be the best. I don't know, but I use a great big can of Bumblebee and 4 hard-boiled eggs and about a dozen slices of onion and some sweet pickle relish and just a little bit of mayonnaise and what else?
You're making me hungry. This sounds really good.
It's good.
I'm getting really, I haven't even eaten anything yet today. I haven't had time, but that sounds good.
But that's how I cut my fingers
Yeah.
doing onion on the mandolin.
I have to bust on you for something, Craig, and I'm not overweight at all. When I first came out to visit you last year, remember the first time you said, do you want anything? I said, can you get me a cup of coffee? Because you don't have a coffee maker. So you said, I'm going to McDonald's. And I said, do you want anything? And I said, you could get me a hash brown. And you said, and hey, listen, I love you. I'm just busting on you. But I said, can you get me two? And you said, you really don't need to have two hash browns. So listen, Craig, he keeps everybody in check. And I don't think I've had a hash brown since last year. I was like, what? I don't think you got me two. I think you got me one hash brown. That was good. That's okay. I thought it was funny. All right. So anyway, so a guy by the name of Mark J, he wants to know about songs. He said, do you have any favorite songs or albums of the post-crash Skynyrd? Anything in particular that you really liked, or kind of listened to? Post-crash.
Post-crash? Oh, after the crash.
After the crash. Yeah, after the crash. After the crash.
Yeah, Johnny wrote a song, two young lovers meet and take each other's hand and say I do in the name of the Lord, and I can't remember the name of the song, but I like that song.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I haven't heard that one, but sounds like a nice.
Young lovers meet and take each other's hand and say I do in the name of the Lord.
Aww.
I can't remember the worst of it, but yeah,
that's
I like that.
Nice.
Johnny's wrote a couple of good songs, a few, just kind of not, I don't know, real Skynyrdy like Ronnie used to,
Yeah.
do.
Okay. I got 3 people asking the same question. When and why? Well, why don't you want to write a book? That was the first time I talked to you on the phone. I said, you should write a book. And I know you've been saying this every time. I don't want to write a book. I don't want to write a book. But Tim Maine, he says, why doesn't he write a book? It would be so awesome with all of the stories he has, and easy with someone like you asking him questions. You have a way of getting the information out of Craig. And then Lori Shoemaker said, you really should be writing a book. And then Jeff Markinet says, I know you don't want to write a book, but your memories need to be in written form, so your stories and the truth continue for the next generation. And then he says, I heard you say you can't believe folks are still interested in the band 50 years later. Skynyrd fans will still be enthralled 100 years and behind from now. And I agree that I know you don't want to write a book, but we have the podcasts, but it would be nice if somebody could record or if you could have recorded some of your memoirs or things like that. What do you think?
I don't believe I have the capacity to write a book. I haven't read that many books. I mean, I really don't. I'm just I just never sat down and read a lot of stuff. So, I don't know.
You'd have to have somebody would have to be working with you to gather the information and put it in some kind of a format and then organize it.
I just don't know what. There's so much stuff in my head. I wouldn't know what to pull out and put down. That's why that's why I say, I'd rather just do a podcast and just have people ask me
Yeah.
questions and just answer the questions of the stuff that people want to know, rather than me just sitting down and saying a bunch of stuff, because, I don't know. I just don't feel I'm capable.
Well, it's a lot. It takes an awful lot of energy and time. I mean, if you would start with probably what your life was like before you met Lynyrd Skynyrd. What were you doing? What you were doing, and then you would talk about the night and how you wound up in Kent and you wound up meeting the band. That would be a good way to start it, because people want to know how that all happened.
Do you have it in your question list about? I saw the question, how often do you think about meeting the band in Kent?
Yeah, I do. That's one of the questions I have. It's
Okay.
I'm kind of doing them out of order, but I'm gonna
Okay.
find it. Yeah, it says here.
Oh, that's okay. You can do them in order. We can get back to it. I just saw that one, and
Yeah. Well, James Wooten said, asked, how often do you think about the
Who's that? Who
first
did?
time you met with the guys?
Who did?
James Wooten, he says, how often
Oh,
do you think
James
about
Wooten.
that first? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Who is he?
Uh, I get
I
confused.
know. Okay.
He's the
That's all
guy
right.
that's with Oliver Anthony.
James Wooten, Wooten. I don't think so.
No.
No, I think this is maybe somebody with a similar name. He just said, how often do you think about the first time you met with the guys in
Oh,
Kent
okay. All
and
the
how that
time I
changed
do.
your life?
No, all
Yeah.
the time. All the time. I do all the time. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I think about people asking me all these questions and saying how much a part of history I am and all that, I think about, God, if I wouldn't have went to that Holiday Inn, what the hell would I be doing? It's just like, you know, um, without Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'd just be I don't know what I'd be, And it's just there's a lot of people that have have uh, have quite a life because of Ronnie and the Lynyrd Skynyrd guys, and I don't think they think about it often enough where they would be without the band, that
Yeah.
Ronnie. I don't think they appreciate where they would be without the guys that open the door for them, and
That's true. One decision you make in your life just changes your whole life. And I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here talking with you goes back to,
Well, when I was growing up,
contacting Gene Oda.
I said, man, someday I'd love to go to San Francisco. I'd love to go to London. I'd like to go see the Grand Canyon. I'd like to see,
Yep.
all this stuff. I'd like to see. I've done that and so much more. My gosh, it's just unbelievable the stuff that I've done because I went to the Holiday Inn, one time, and running into them, it's just totally changed my life. I mean, it's
Yeah. Who did you go with anyway? Was that a girlfriend you were with that night?
Yeah, Lee Giacomo.
Oh, is she around still?
Yeah.
We got to get her on the podcast. She was with you.
I have called her a couple of times and wanted to take her out to dinner and just kind of just not to get back together or nothing, just because we were together 50 years ago, and she just kind of, I don't know,
because she was there when this all happened. I mean, she would have her perspective would be really cool to hear. Wow. cool.
Yeah, I don't
Lucky
think
girl.
she just doesn't want to get involved, I guess. I don't
Mm.
know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was a really interesting question about how often you think about it. As you think about it all the time.
Oh God, yeah, I do. Yeah. Matter of fact, it's funny because when I met Lynyrd Skynyrd, I had a peace pipe. wasn't
Oh,
wasn't as cool as this one. And when I
yeah.
was talking about that on the podcast where we were Indians on Thanksgiving, I was talking about the peace pipe that I had once, and I couldn't find it. And cousin Figel went out and bought me this one. It's a real authentic Navajo peace pipe. Yeah.
And you modified it. You put something on the end there with that black
Well,
thing,
the
right?
little rubber tip, because the hole in the end was kind of big and it was sucking too much air, so I had to put the thing with it with a smaller end on
Okay.
it. Didn't suck so much air.
You look like you're enjoying that peace pipe. Thank you, cousin Figel. You made Chris
Yeah, it was a little rough breaking
made
in,
his year.
but I've got it broke in now.
Oh, I'm sure you do. He had that in his hand when we first started the meeting before.
Yeah, I got it broke in pretty good.
So I got a question from John Pleskin. He's the guy up in Canada. He wants to know if you're going to do the Stone Roadie Show is going to do a live Facebook/YouTube telethon for the Forgotten Survivors. Boy, I'll tell you, you're going to get a lot of slack if you do that because
Oh
everything you
boy.
do, you get slack for.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
else wants
don't know. I guess we
to say.
could. I don't know. I'm not really into fundraisers, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been totally above board with this one, you know, and we've still been accused of misappropriation of funds, you know,
Yeah.
and we never had a foundation and got investigated by the FBI like for a misappropriation of funds like some people we know, but yeah, every penny that we've
Yeah.
got from donations, we've listed their names up on the thingy here. I've got all the names and
Nice. Very
uh,
good. You are upfront and you just do disclose
yeah.
everything. And I noticed one of the names on there is Angela Leonard, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
She's
Mhm.
so cool. I heard you guys talking on the last podcast. She sent me this really nice Christmas card and I put it on she asked me for my address. That was really sweet.
Oh yeah.
Seasons creeping. I pray that you have a beautiful Christmas with your family and friends. God bless you. You have a beautiful soul. Really, really nice that she went and sent the
Yeah, she's
card.
a
No,
nice
no
lady.
money. If there were money, I would have forwarded it to you. But really
She's a
nice
bike.
thought.
She's a biker lady, and since you mentioned her, she had an appendix. Is the appendix is something you don't need? Is that what
Oh
it is?
yeah, she had an appendix removed, or
Yeah, and she was in the hospital for quite a while, I guess, and
oh boy,
yeah, had a pretty rough time with it, and I guess she's you know finally getting back to normal. But yeah, I guess
oh.
I don't think an appendix is something you even need, is it?
No, you could have your one appendix, right? And your appendix removed. That's right. I don't know. I've heard of people having it removed, but she's a really nice,
Yeah,
caring
she's a
young
really nice lady.
lady.
Yeah, she's all
Yeah.
yeah, we chat every now and then. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Everybody wants to know. Oh, Lori Shoemaker wants to know if you're potentially going to have Paul Abraham back on the show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
We sure
Okay.
will. Yeah.
All right.
We like to get him on when we have Mike Estes on because they were neighbors and they like to rehash old memories and stuff, so we like to get them back
Yeah.
on together. But yeah, well, we were supposed to have Paul on here Oh gosh, I don't remember. We was gonna had to do
Okay.
something, have Paul on it. Yeah, oh yeah, sure will.
Oh, when he's ready. I did want to let you know, I told you this, but I had reached out. I was really trying to get a woman on the podcast. I'm not going to say her name, obviously, but she was a high school friend of Kathy Johns, Alan's wife. She has said on a couple of times on Facebook that she was a very good friend with Kathy. And I thought it would be nice to get her on and maybe talk about what it was like, at that time in high school with Alan and Kathy and when they first started dating. But she feels that she doesn't really have too much to say. She didn't know the guys, and she's still very upset about losing her good friend. So unfortunately, she won't come on the podcast. But I'm trying. If I know people who are friends with, Alan or anybody in high school, I'm going to still try to get them on, as I did last week with Robert Lamb, a friend of Bob Burns. So anybody who's has a history with any of the band members, let us know. We'd love to have you on and tell your story. Okay. So got a couple of questions from Walter White. This has to do with the plane crash. He said, he asks, did having a near-death experience change you? Just
Well, I think, like I've said before, I just mentioned that, it's kind of weird when you go through a 10-minute part of your life when you don't know if you're going to live or you're going to die.
yeah.
But I never really went through that. I never once thought that I wasn't going to make it. I just didn't. I mean, right up until 3 minutes before the plane crashed, I was kind of laughing about it. I thought we were gonna slide it into that pipeline and just belly slide it in there, and we were gonna,
Yeah.
knock the wings off of it, and it'd be like Mr. Toad's wild ride, and be something to tell our kids about. How are we gonna get out of this field? We're gonna have to bring taxis in this field and stuff. And I was drunk. I was still drunk. I was laughing about it, and then all of a sudden they went turned to the left and tried to make some field. I didn't know what they were doing. All of a sudden we lost the pipeline. We were over trees, and then
Yeah.
and then the other engine quit, and then we started clipping pine trees, and God, we were playing poker right up until 5 minutes, not even, I don't even think that much before the plane actually crashed. And so I never really went through any traumatic experience, with it, but you know, so no, it didn't. It didn't really affect me that bad. It really.
So you weren't afraid or apprehensive of flying on a plane after this?
No,
Okay.
no. I always thought, I'd already been in one. What's my chances of being in two? And
That's
then,
true.
and,
Yeah.
and then I find that Steve Lawler was in three.
You don't want to fly with
He
him.
was on the crash, so yeah. So there goes my philosophy on that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just, I would be on plane crashes and next to people that hadn't flown before, women that hadn't flown, and they were all, panicky, and I go, oh, don't worry about it. I've already been on a plane crash. I'm not going to be on another one. They'd be holding on to me when I was like, but yeah, it's kind of funny, The whole thing's been quite an experience,
Yeah. Another thing, I asked you once before about what happened with Vietnam. Didn't you say your number was too high or something like that? That's why you
Yeah,
didn't have to
yeah.
go to
I
Vietnam?
was in the first lottery, and my number was 354. You know,
Oh.
and then the next year it was 300, and a real high number, and then. But I think that I was in three lotteries. I don't think my number ever did go any lower than 317 or something like
Well, that
that.
would have changed your life if you had been in
Oh my
Vietnam.
gosh.
My
Yeah,
God.
yeah. I wouldn't, me and the military wouldn't have got along very well. No,
Article 15 out.
no, we wouldn't have got along very well.
What
No.
about the guys? Did the guys ever obviously none of them ever got called for the draft, but do you remember them ever saying anything about,
No. Uh-uh. I don't.
okay. I thought maybe they were called, and some people have tried to get out of it. Some people have flown. Some very well-known musicians have flown to have gone up to Canada to try to avoid the draft. They've done different things to.
Well, I stayed in high school. I was a junior for 3 years. I don't really remember if I did that to stay out of high school. I know my friend did.
Yeah.
He was due to go to the army, and he flunked high school on purpose so he could, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He got thrown out of high school on purpose so he'd have to go back the next year. And he became very successful too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What did he do after high
He was
school?
in prosthetics,
Oh, okay.
artificial arms and legs. Yeah.
Cool.
I was gonna try to have him set up with Mark Howard, because he actually does bionics, and his wife is actually involved in it too, and she's kind of does research on. She's really involved in research on prosthetics, and really comes up with a lot of the new joints and stuff that they have, that so your leg isn't, so you just don't have you have a folding knee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The same guy, Walter White, wants to know, this is a really broad question. What is your favorite city ever?
Oh boy.
If you even have one. It's hard to pick one favorite city, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
it's a hard question.
boy, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I know you said you really love, well, I mean, you love San Francisco. Didn't you say you like San Francisco?
I wouldn't want to live there now, but yeah, San Francisco. Well, San Francisco, like I said before, before I was anybody and didn't go anywhere. San Francisco was one of the places that I wanted to go, because that's where all the hippies were. San Francisco, that was a cool place to be. God, I don't know.
All right. Well, you can think about that. You know what?
New York City. I like New York City, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Yay.
It's a pretty fascinating place, but I wouldn't want to live there,
No.
And Tokyo was really cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just there's a lot of cool places, but as far as wanting to live, they were really cool to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there,
Yeah.
There was a time when I wanted to go move to Hawaii. I thought, oh my God, that's where I want to go, but I wouldn't want to go there now and live, And I don't know. I like it right here in Akron, Ohio. Imagine if there was any place better than here that I liked better, I'd go there. But I really don't.
You've certainly traveled to a lot of cities.
I got more privacy here where I live than most anybody I know.
Mm-hmm. You do. Okay, this is from a question from my friend Mike Schmidt from Cranford. Hey, Mike, this is your question. I told you I was going to put you last, but I'll put you in the middle. What was your favorite opening act for Lynyrd Skynyrd? If you think about all the bands that opened for Lynyrd Skynyrd, is there any that you really liked? Like just because of their music, or, I mean, so many bands opened for them, but who did you really like? Recall? Is that a hard question to pick one, or
the old Lynyrd Skynyrd or the new Lynyrd Skynyrd?
The old Lynyrd Skynyrd. So somebody asked about Rush. Did Rush ever open with Lynyrd Skynyrd or play with Skynyrd or something? I thought it was one of the
Rush
questions.
Never opened for Skynyrd.
Right.
Gosh, I don't know. There was a lot of bands that opened for Skynyrd. Skynyrd opened for about everybody, and then just about everybody opened for Skynyrd.
That's true.
When Skynyrd first started, man, they opened for everybody. They opened for Wet Willie. I mean, they opened for lots of people, and then in the later years, everybody opened for Lynyrd Skynyrd. So, gosh,
that'd be a hard question. Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Daniels used to open for Skynyrd all the time, and I always got along with those guys, and 38 and those guys, they were always fun to have as opening act, because I knew all those guys, Larry Steele and all the guys, and this always happens. Oh God.
Call from Draper.
Okay. We want to know who's on the phone. Whoever that person is, you're interrupting a podcast. So just let you know. No, it's okay. I mean, I saw Rossington Collins band. I saw Henry Paul open for them. Who else opened for them? 38 Special opened for them, and three different bands I saw open for Rossington Collins, and they all were really, really good.
Go away.
That's putting it nicely. All right, we're gonna come back. You can think about that question. Okay.
What's that? What was that? I'm sorry.
No, your favorite opening act for Lynyrd Skynyrd. Was there any band that you really thought did well with Skynyrd, or
God, all those old bands, Wet Willie, I don't know. There was so many, and God, Ted Nugent, God, I'm just
all right. Okay.
ZZ Top.
Yeah, ZZ Top. All right. They had a lot of.
I don't think Skynyrd. ZZ ever opened for Skynyrd, the original Skynyrd. I don't think. I think it was.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think that was always I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. You just mentioned Wet Willie. I know that Leslie Hawkins used to perform with Wet Willie, right, before she joined Skynyrd.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know that you said she was so beautiful, and I think somebody had a crush on her or was in love with her. But Steve Jones, he said, were you aware that the song by Atlanta Rhythm System, they had a song called "I'm So Into You"?
Yeah, that was Robert Nix was in love with Leslie.
Yes, that's what he wanted to know. Did he definitely, for sure, write that about?
Oh yeah,
Leslie?
That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. But did he write that when she was in Wet Willie or when she transitioned over to Skynyrd? Do you know?
Skynyrd. Yeah.
Okay.
Was Skynyrd up in Studio One when we were up in Studio One doing the album? Yeah.
Okay. But she was married at the time, or did they ever date?
I don't know. I don't know about her marital. I know she had a child, but I don't know about her marital situation. Okay. And somebody asked me yesterday about Dale. That they said, she started with 38 Special, right? And I said, well, I believe she was sang with Leon Russell before.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm almost positive she sang with Leon Russell.
Okay.
Who was with Lynyrd Skynyrd.
All right.
99.9% sure she sang with Leon Russell.
Only 89.9? That's
99.9.
Oh, 99.9. Okay.
Yeah. I'm positive. I'm sure she did, but
Okay.
there's always a question with me.
All right. All right. Got more questions. We got a lot of questions. We may have to continue this on the Christmas Eve show because I have to leave
You
very
have to go on
shortly.
a dog sitting venture here in 10
I'm
minutes.
gonna be I'm gonna be dog sitting for my daughter turned 30 yesterday and she went away for the weekend to Vermont and she said, Mom, can you come over and take her a Harley? So I have to go get over there. But we'll do as much as we can in the next 10 minutes and then we'll just continue the next on Christmas Eve. Look at, oh my God, what a
That's
darling.
Leon.
I know, little Leon, so tiny.
I was
Hey,
going to
Leon.
get a bath before I took him to the vet yesterday, but when I did that to my finger, it was kind of.
If you put him out in the snow, you're not going to see him. All you're going to see is a little two black eyes in the nose.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
cute.
hard to see them.
He's a sweetheart.
They love the snow, though. They love to jump around in the snow for about 5 seconds, and then they're done. They come running in the house. They play for a minute, and then they're. I'm
Yeah.
done.
All right, let's get a couple of more questions and then we'll just finish the rest on Christmas Eve. And we have a special surprise. Like I said, Craig is going to let us know whether he's been naughty or nice this year. He has a couple of days to think about it. All right. So let me get a couple of more questions out. This was about, okay, Ken Johnson. In Anaheim, California, in August of 1977, I guess this is where they filmed the Pepsi commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Oh, not particularly, no.
Okay.
No, I didn't really pay much attention to the filming stuff.
Okay.
All
right.
No.
All right. And then the other question, this one is from a gentleman by the name of Neil McKeon. The one more from the road, apparently they were going to film it. And then something happened and they decided not to film it. Do you know what happened with that? Like, why didn't they film the one more from the road event?
I don't remember that.
Concerts at the Fox? No.
That was 1976. There wasn't a lot of stuff available for filming. When you're talking about filming, you're talking about real film.
Yes.
They didn't really have video back then, so.
Somebody thought it was because Ronnie didn't want, cameras in the guys' faces and all kinds of distractions. And they thought maybe that Ronnie said, he said, no go. There you are. You're all ready, Craig. You got a couple of days to think about if you've been naughty or nice. I think I know what the answer is going to be.
Well, this isn't my naughty nice hat.
No, I know. I know that. I've seen your naughty nice hat. So listen, we still have more questions, but you know what? I think we had a lot of fun today and I want to save the rest of them for Christmas Eve. So if anybody wants to clarify any things we've talked about today, we weren't really sure about, send them and let us know. Send them to me or Craig or put them on the YouTube and we're going to wrap it up now, but not before Craig sings because that's the best part of the show when Craig sings.
All righty then. I guess it's time to say this has been one podcast 110 of the Stone Roadie Show. And I've been your host, Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie. And this has been my co-host, the lovely Kathy GODSEY. And until next time on the Stone Roadie Show, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then. And may the good Lord take a liking to you until the next time. See you later, alligator. At the wild crocodile. Later, gator.
Bye. See you Christmas Eve.
Happy trails to you again. Happy trails to you. Keep toking until then.